All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something really fascinating, how genuine love and connection can literally conquer negativity. We've all been there, right? Those moments where we just feel kind of disconnected, maybe a bit ungrateful, or just plain cold to the people around us. But what happens when that feeling completely takes over? Well, today we're going to look at a classic story, The Snow Queen, to break down the actual mechanics of apathy, the incredible power of a shared bond, and exactly why friendship defeats the curse.
Okay, let's dive right into this with a question that honestly seems completely backwards. Can a simple rose defeat a heart of ice? It sounds like a total mismatch, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got this massive, magical, world-ending threat, a literal heart of ice, and on the other, just a delicate, fragile little birthday gift. But as we're going to see, the true power of a gesture, it's not in its price tag. It's in the massive weight of the connection behind it.
To really get this, let's look at a totally relatable, everyday scenario featuring a kid named Tofu. So Tofu's having a great birthday. He is surrounded by all these amazing gifts, but he's got a problem. Despite this mountain of presents, he is visibly let down by one thing in particular, a single rose from his grandmother. He's actually complaining that she could have gotten him something, better. But what Tofu is completely missing here is the profound effort wrapped up in that gesture. He's missing the fact that his grandma literally flew across the country just to be there and hand him that flower. He's staring at the physical object, completely blind to the love.
What Tofu is going through right now is what I like to call the metaphorical curse. This is basically the loss of empathy, love, and appreciation for the little, everyday things our friends and family do for us. And let's be real, it is a very common problem. When we start taking our people for granted, we start developing this cold heart. We stop seeing the magic in human connection and start fixating on the transactional value of things. Tofu has no idea, but he is deep under the influence of this metaphorical curse right now. So to help him snap out of it, he gets told the classic fairy tale of the Snow Queen.
Section 1. The Literal Curse. This story is the perfect way to see what happens when that metaphorical curse of ingratitude becomes a terrifying, literal reality. So the story starts by setting up this incredibly strong baseline of friendship. We meet Gerda and Kay, and they aren't just neighbors, they are absolute best friends. They actually planted a rose bush right in their front yards, and every single morning they get together to water it and care for it. Now that rose is crucial here. Just like the gift from Tofu's grandma, this rose acts as a physical, living symbol of their love and their daily commitment to one another.
But things take a pretty dark turn when Kay decides to openly mock the legend of the Snow Queen. Big mistake. Using her magic mirror, she sees this blatant disrespect and decides to strike. First, she fires these magical ice arrows from afar, and they hit Kay right in the eyes and the heart. The effect, literally instantaneous. His behavior turns instantly cold, mean, and dismissive. He is physically and emotionally changed. And the really scary part is her ultimate goal. If his heart completely freezes over, he's going to be trapped in this apathetic state forever. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolutely devastating, empathy-stripping effect of those ice arrows. Kay, before the curse, he was a loving friend. He was the kid who couldn't wait to go over to Gerda's for grandma's stories and hot chocolate, always carefully tending to their shared rose garden. But Kay, after the curse, he's completely unrecognizable. He literally shoves Gerda aside, calls her a wimp, glares at her with these cold, mean looks, and completely abandons the roses they planted together. The curse has literally frozen his ability to care. With Kay's defenses totally wiped out and his connection severed, he is basically easy prey. So, one morning, the Snow Queen arrives. She's described as having skin like diamonds and silver-white hair, very intense, and she just abducts him in her carriage. The stakes for our explainer right now are incredibly high. She drags him off to her ice palace and declares that once his heart fully freezes, he is hers forever. If that happens, the Kay that Gerda knew? Gone. Permanently lost to the ice.
Section 2. The Journey of Friendship.
But Gerda, she refuses to just accept this. She doesn't sit back. She launches a massive rescue mission. And what's really fascinating here is that this journey isn't just about travel. It's an active, real-time demonstration of friendship overcoming seemingly impossible hurdles. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds. Day 1. She sets out seeking wisdom, taking her grandmother's truth-telling hand mirror for guidance. By day 2, she stumbles into a magical flower garden where the Snow Queen actually stole the scent from the flowers. But just by touching a flower with her innate warmth to see if it's real, Gerda restores their fragrance. Day 3, she crosses paths with a hostile pirate crew. And by day 4, she manages to secure a ride all the way to the Snow Queen's ice palace. Every single step of the way, Gerda is beating escalating obstacles not with weapons, but with just pure, inherent warmth and sincerity.
Her interaction with the pirates is incredibly telling. She meets this pirate girl who, at first, flat out refuses to help her. The pirate girl says she doesn't even know what a friend is. But when Gerda passionately pleads that she has to save Kay because he is her friend, the pirate girl makes this amazing demand. She says, "Okay, I will help you if you promise to be my friend." Gerda literally uses the promise of friendship as a tool to secure the world's fastest reindeer. Connection is literally the currency driving this entire journey forward.
Section 3. Love defeats the ice.
Which brings us right to the climax of the story. Gerda finally makes it to the palace. It's time to see exactly how a curse of absolute apathy actually gets broken. The confrontation here is just visually and emotionally striking. You have Kay standing alone in the corner of this massive ice palace. His lips are blue, his eyes are steely cold, and he is just completely unresponsive. He is minutes away from his heart freezing completely. But in stark contrast, look at Gerda's approach. She doesn't fight the Snow Queen. Instead, she rushes straight to Kay. She reaches out for his frozen hand, pleading with him, utterly refusing to give up on her best friend. She brings all this emotional warmth right into a room made of literal, freezing apathy.
And here is how the curse is actually broken. Spoiler alert, it's not with swords or magic wands or some secret counterspell. It happens through a deliberate, step-by-step reintroduction of empathy and memories. It kicks off when Gerda reaches out and grabs his hand. That familiar, loving touch alone is enough to bring a tiny flicker of color back to Kay's eyes. Seeing that little spark, she starts verbally reminding him of their home, of the fun they used to have, and crucially, of their shared roses. Finally, completely overwhelmed by the fear of losing him forever, Gerda just breaks down. A physical tear of pure love and desperation falls directly onto Kay's frozen hand.
Now, what's really interesting about this moment is the immediate result of that single teardrop. As soon as that physical manifestation of love touches him, the ice shatters. Kay looks up, smiles, and says, "Gerda, my friend, you came for me." Notice his very first words. He doesn't ask where he is. He doesn't complain about the freezing cold. He acknowledges his friend. The antidote worked instantly. Connection is flooded right back into his heart. The Snow Queen, as you might guess, is furious. She steps in, yelling that absolutely nothing can overturn her curse. But during the scuffle, Grandma's truth-telling mirror falls out of Gerda's pocket. And that mirror delivers the ultimate, undeniable reality check to the Snow Queen. There is one power stronger than your curse, and it is the power of love. Magic, ice, apathy, they simply cannot hold up against genuine, persistent emotional connection.
Upon hearing this absolute truth, something wild happens. The Snow Queen is defeated. But notice exactly how it happens. She starts crying. And she cries so intensely that she literally dissolves into a pool of her own tears. The irony here is just poetic. The Queen of Ice, the one who tried to freeze all emotion and turn every heart cold, is destroyed by her own tears, the very manifestation of the emotion she tried so incredibly hard to wipe off the face of the earth.
So, the crucial point here is this concept of the ultimate antidote. Gerda's tear? It wasn't just salt water. It was a physical manifestation of empathy. Whether it's a tear, a gentle touch, a promise of friendship, or just a really good hug, these manifestations are the ultimate antidote. They are literally the only things capable of melting away that apathy, that negativity, and that metaphorical ice that tends to build up around our own hearts when we lose sight of what actually matters.
And that brings our narrative full circle, right back to the real world and Tofu's birthday. Just by hearing this story, Tofu experiences this massive awakening. His own metaphorical curse, totally broken. He instantly feels terrible about being so unfair to his grandmother. He finally gets it. That single rose wasn't some cheap present. It was an act of profound, enduring love. Just like Gerda and Kay's roses. So he decides to apologize right away, planning to run over and give her a giant kiss and a big hug. The warmth of this story literally melted his temporary coldness.
Which leaves us with a final thought to ponder today. Look, we all face the metaphorical ice arrows of daily life, right? The stress, the endless distractions, the easy temptation to just take our loved ones for granted. So I have to ask you, are you letting a cold heart freeze your relationships, or will you choose the power of appreciation today? Remember, it doesn't take grand, sweeping, magical gestures to break the curse. Sometimes it literally just takes a single rose, a warm hug, and the courage to be a true friend. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. And hey, I challenge you to go out and show some real appreciation to the people who matter most in your life today.